I want to talk to you today about these high yield funds and give my honest assessment after 4 months of testing various ones. This is Mike, the tactical stock scalper. All right. So when you get into these funds, you get into them because of the payment that they offer you every month, right? And some people care about the actual stock price of the ETF going up, others don't. Well, I do care about it, so it's important to me to make sure that these are going to be sustainable for the long term instead of just constantly going down and never really getting your initial capital back, which is very important to me that I do get that back, right? That I start trading with house money, so to speak. So what I've learned so far, are these sustainable? And so let's kind of look at this right now. Now, some of these I own, some of these I haven't owned, right? So let's look at Apple. Apple, since its inception, right around there at $20, got, nice up there to 22, and then, fell off due to, probably market conditions and the dividend payment. Look how it's retraced. Very nice, honestly. Very, very nice out of Apple. I don't know what it pays. I've never owned it, but I'm just looking at the charts and I've been studying them the last couple days, all of them. Very nice out of Apple. What does that tell you? That the stock price will go up on the ETF and that you can get your initial capital back. Awesome. So I had a couple more. Look at JP Morgan. Never owned it. JPMO have never owned it. Don't know anything about the dividends on it, honestly. I'm just looking at the stock price of the ETF to see if they are sustainable. So what do we come in here at a JP Morgan, right at $20? Since then has fallen off. But what do we got here? A recovery. Okay. I mean, it's not all the way up to its inception point at 20, but depending on where you bought it, could be doing really well for you. Okay. Let's look at a couple others here. Let's look at AMZ. Okay. Inception, right at $20. Where's she at now? Wonderful. Look at this recovery from way down here, right, to back up here. Fantastic, guys. This makes me, I haven't really studied in depth these charts until this weekend. And I am so impressed. I'm almost like speechless with how well some of these are doing. Now, what I have noticed, okay, and this is just for me and my observations, everyone's observations are going to be different. What I have noticed is a lot of them will drop over time, okay? Let's look at OARC here for a minute. Right? I mean, this obviously isn't a beautiful picture. There we are. It's at its inception, depending on where you bought it, of course, and whatever. But by and large, you're probably down, right? Including dividends and stock price, you're probably down on this position. However, looking at the other ones, this tells me that this has sustainability, which I wasn't sure if it did or didn't. I was in OARC. I bought it around 14, right around here actually, and sold it at 15. Got the dividends from it, so I was up on it in share price and dividends. Since I haven't touched it, haven't really looked at it to be honest with you, but I like the way it's trying to climb back. One thing I have noticed, the more volatile the underlying, okay, it appears that one will have a much more difficult time trying to recapture share price. Why is that? Well, it's because of the covered call strategy that they're employing. So if it's something like, let's say, Apple, that isn't nearly as, say, volatile as a Tesla, okay, Apple, that is, if it's a slow grind like this, that is very, very nice. And it shows you that you can recapture your stock price and the dividend and live a great life. This is just guys, I'm blown away. Okay, let's look at Tesla, and I'm just want to, and I know anytime anyone talks about Tesla, in some kind of negative light, they're scorned and this and that, and I don't really care, but I just call it as I see it. So, with Tesla, we have these rise up. Something changed, right? Tesla didn't, start being volatile down here. It's been volatile for a very long time. Something changed, right? With Tesla. Maybe the price dropped so much. I don't know. Maybe it's the cover call strategy there. But what I think is because it's so volatile, Tesla, this one will have a hard time trying to capture upside potential. Now, in saying that, can Tesla recover back to 13, 14, 15, 16 and higher? Yeah, I think so. As long as Tesla slow grinds. Now, that's not what Tesla is known for. It's very volatile. But if it does, the proof is in the pudding, my friends. Right? Okay. Let's check out the Defiance funds. Let's check out QQQY. Another thing I've noticed. If you go in heavy to start, you're probably going to be in trouble, right? I don't want to say probably because it could, depending on which one. If you bought Coney at the beginning and went in heavy, it's up to $25 to start at 20. You'd be sitting great. So there are outliers, of course. But by and large, if you go in heavy initially, you're probably going to suffer a little bit of pain. So what I do in noticing that is I buy in low and slow and take my time. I don't need the money like right now. So I'm building my position through time. And every day that passes, I become more and more of a believer in these types of funds, right? Because there's just skeptical because I haven't seen anything like it. So you have to forgive me for being skeptical, but it is what it is. I am. And every day that passes, I become more and more of a believer. Let's look at QQQY here. We had a dip there from the first dividend drop, right? Recovered about half of its price there and then sold off as the market went down. We had a drop here and it went up and recovered its share price because the market ripped up. Now, there's some YouTubers that are out there saying, it's the only reason, it went up 1% and the Qs went up 11% per se during this run here. And that is absolutely true. However, the Qs were ripping up, right? If it was a slower grind on the way up here, even though it was 11%, if it was a much slower move up, it's a fact that this would have gone up even higher just because, the way the nature of these work. Let's look at JEPY here. I'm becoming more and more of a believer, and my goal was to not dump a bunch of money in. I needed to test these for 8 months to a year. I want to be 100% sure before I start dropping a lot of money in these funds. I have a small account with these, just testing them out. Guys, it is getting very, very difficult to not dump a bunch of money in these funds. It's very difficult. I think these are sustainable. I think they're going to last a long time. And for me and my plan, I think these are going to work out extremely well. But like I said, what I've noticed is if it's a very volatile stock, it may have a much more difficult time catching the upside of its underlying. If it's more of a slow grinder, it will have no problem catching up to its share price. And guys, that is freaking brilliant, and I love it. I think these things are solid. Sorry, just my thoughts for the day and just my testing over the week. Buy in low and slow. Take your time. Average down accordingly. Try to get the lowest price possible because obviously by looking at these charts, average price does matter. Hope you enjoyed the content. This is Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper out.